Welcome friends, and thank you for once again taking the time to watch Chill Guitar Reviews. A brand new product launch is on us this week, and I am extremely excited to present to you a roundup of what works and what does not work about the new Kemper Player Profiler. Regular viewers of the channel will know I am a humongous die-hard Kemper fan, and probably 3/4 of all of the guitar reviews I've done for this channel have been recorded using my Kemper Rack, which is just sat behind me in a rack unit there. Of course, these days competition is absolutely fierce as hell amongst guitar modelers. We really are spoilt for choice. There is so many great options out there, and I recommend a number of them on this channel. The Headrush Core is my current sort of second fiddle favourite to the Kemper unit. But still, even now, over 10 years after it first launched, when people ask me what's the best sounding guitar modeler, I still say the best sounding thing I have played through that is not a real amp is the Kemper. So naturally, when Kemper announced they were launching a affordable-ish, small, compact version of their profiling unit, I was like, yes, shut up and take my money, pre-ordered one straight away, and I probably am one of the first people in the UK to actually get hold of theirs because it arrived just around Christmas time. Now, as always, full disclosure, I've purchased this Kemper Player Profiler with my own money. Nobody is being compensated or having any input on what goes into this review. This is purely my own thoughts and opinions on it. Which is probably just as well, because as you are about to find out, I'm finding it tricky to recommend this product at its current price point. Now, before I start breaking down what works and what doesn't, the key thing you probably want to know is what is the difference between this and one of the full-size Kemper units, the Rack, the Toaster or the Stage. Clearly the form factor is small, you have 3-foot switches, you have a bunch of pots and switches on the front of the unit, you have a pair of 1/4-inch TS jacks for output on the back, you have a headphone output, an expression pedal input, and you have the really welcome addition of a full-sized XLR out, which I'm really happy to see because on these small modelling units, most of the time you just don't get XLR out. And of course, you cannot profile amps with this unit. All of the existing profiles and all the ones that will ever be made for the full-size Kemper are going to work on this, no problem, but this thing itself cannot do profiling. The other difference is that this unit has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, which is fantastic because the full-size Kemper racks and toaster heads, they don't have anything like that. Now, there is actually quite a substantial difference in what this unit is capable of versus one of the full-size Kemper products. First of all, you only have half the number of possible effects blocks in your signal chain. So you have the amp profile, and on a full-size Kemper, you have 4 blocks in front of the amp, 4 blocks after the amp to do with as you please. Now with the Player, this is reduced to only 2. 2 before the amp, 2 after the amp, for a total of 4 effects blocks. I'm also kind of disappointed to see that there is a significantly reduced selection of effects and stomps in this unit compared to the full-size Kemper. Here is a list, for example, of the delays and the reverbs that you can currently select in a full-size Kemper unit. Now here, on the other hand, is what's currently available in the Kemper player. It's not even half. I would probably say it's about a third if I'm being generous. And this goes for every type of effect and stop. There's only a handful of drive pedals in this. There's only a handful of delays, verbs, modulation effects. Now I have to say this is the very first thing that does not work about this product for me. Kemper, when it first launched 10 years ago, didn't have a great effects selection. But over the years, Kemper have been just incredibly generous and consistent with updates. And now Kemper has some of the most fantastic sounding delays, reverbs. You know, whenever you hear me doing ambient playing on this channel, it's virtually always through my Kemper. You know, one of my favorite reverb effects just ever is Kemper's Cirrus reverb effect. That's what I use on all of my swimmy ambient clean playing on this channel. And I was so crushingly disappointed to see that it's just not in this unit. Honestly, the reverbs and delays that are in this unit are just like super basic. There's nothing fancy in there. There's 3 each. Yeah, you can get some pretty standard delay type stuff, but don't go thinking there's going to be any of that fancy soundscape ambienty swimminess. This neatly leads me on to probably the first thing that does really work about this unit, and that's the fact that it does have wireless capability. Fantastic. So you can use the Bluetooth to play back backing tracks off your phone or Spotify or whatever you want to kind of jam along to. Awesome. The built-in Wi-Fi on this unit also enables you to use Kemper's Rig Manager app wirelessly, which is brilliant. I've been testing the app's functionality on both an iOS device and an Android device just to see if it works well for you guys on both. What I can report is that the operation through my iPad is pretty seamless. The app is not as straightforward to set up as you might think. What I found you've actually got to do is you've got to manually connect to the player's Wi-Fi network before the app will see it. So I sat there for quite a while trying to get this thing to pair. It just said searching for profiler. Don't know. I could never get it to work like that. I had to look on the back of the unit for the Wi-Fi network and password for this unit itself, connect to it as if I was connecting to my Wi-Fi router, and then Rig Manager would see the unit. Now, unfortunately, at the time of doing this video, the Rig Manager app for mobile devices does not allow you to load in any new profiles. In order to find new profiles or use Kemper's free Rig Exchange to search for them and download them, you have to use the desktop version of Rig Manager. Again, this is something that doesn't really work that well for me. Like, why give us a Rig Manager app that does everything possible on a mobile device, but it doesn't allow us to find new profiles and install them? Kind of weird. I really hope Kemper can add this in a future update. I really have to tell you guys that in terms of building rigs on this thing, it's impossible without using this app. So this app is really crucial, and I think you're going to have in mind that you ain't going to be sitting here downloading profiles, building signal chains, saving presets from the unit itself. Really, the controls on the unit are just basic amp-like controls for tweaking things just on the fly. As you can see, this unit doesn't have a screen, so that app really is crucial. So fantastic that this thing has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth built in. It has a really decent, actually quite straightforward to use app that functions really well. I have been having some problems with this app, however, on Android devices. First of all, I experience periods where the app is just totally unresponsive, like nothing is happening, even though I'm sat right next to it. Most frustratingly though is that currently with my Android phone, I actually can't select or change some effects types. When you're choosing, for example, a delay or a reverb, the list of effects is opened in a scroll window, and currently no matter what I do, I can't scroll to the bottom of that list, which is very frustrating, and as things stand, Android-wise, the app just doesn't properly work, at least in my experience so far. I have gone to the trouble of completely updating the firmware on this, making sure I'm on all the latest versions of both the unit software and Rig Manager, and at the moment that bug is there, which is really annoying, and I've had to exclusively use my iPad for this reason to build rigs and test the Rig Manager app. Look, the biggest shining jewel in the crown of this product, and the biggest thing that works about it for me, is quite simply the quality of the amp modeling you are getting. This little Kemper player sounds identical to a full-size Kemper unit. That is to say that all of the profiles you have for your full-size Kemper, they all carry over to this unit perfectly. They sound completely the same. That is to say, the sounds are just epic out of this thing once you've got a couple of good profiles dialed in. What's also nice is that with this unit, Kemper have preloaded 50 profiles by some of the most renowned Kemper profile makers from around the world. So you have preloaded profiles in here from people like Michael Britt, from well-known names across rock and metal. There's a couple of Keith Merrow presets in there for the metal guys like me. That's a really nice touch. There is actually some great sounding factory presets in there that you can kick off your sounds with, just give them a little bit of a tweak. So the way this thing sounds, I have absolutely zero complaints. It sounds epic. And the problem is I wish that all of my rigs I've built that I use for my videos worked on this thing, but because of the reduced number of effects blocks and because of the fact that it's just missing all the good reverbs and modulation effects, all my ambient stuff just doesn't work on this. Yes, the amp profiles and everything carry over. I would love to have something where everything I've got in my full-size Kemper goes in there. I can take that in a gig bag with me. That's the dream that unfortunately so far for me is not being delivered, and something again that just does not work about this product currently. Another great thing that works about this product, I have to say, is the form factor. Look, this thing is tiny. I didn't realize how small it was until it arrived with me and I did the unboxing. I can literally hold this thing in one hand. It doesn't weigh anything at all. It feels just as well built as all the other Kemper gear I've got, my foot switch, my rack. It just feels like a tank. All of the builds, the metal switches, this is something that will stand up to abuse, basically. Some of the best built stuff I've seen out of Kemper. So I really like what they've done with the form factor on this. The only thing that doesn't work about it for me is, my God, this thing needs a screen. We are in 2024 at the time of making this video. I have reviewed modeling units on this channel for 99 quid that come with a display screen. even something like the monochrome LCD display that is currently in my Kemper Rack behind me would just be a revelation on this. Not just for usability and visibility of what you're currently doing with the unit, but there's other things as well that you're kind of deprived of by not having a screen, like fine tuning. This thing has a tuner built in that is always visible, just like on the other Kemper units, which is a fantastic feature that I wish more modelers had, just a permanently on tuner that you can just use at any time. But without the screen, you're not able to do things like have a bubble display, like have a fine tuner, so you're not really able to do things like do fine intonation or tuning on this unit, really, which is a real shame, especially considering the price point. So I have to say, form factor, everything about the packaging this thing comes in, that really works. What doesn't work is there's just no screen, there's no display of any kind. And as I've said, your potential for building rigs on this thing without using the app is just zero, basically. Quite an overlooked and kind of underrated feature of Kemper products that I'm also really happy to see in this is the fact that you have totally gapless switchover. So you can switch between rigs and it's instant, there is no latency, there is no pause. That's a really great feature. You don't need to set up anything like snapshots or scenes or anything like that in order to have that seamless switchover. So that's a real subtle thing that really works for me about this unit, and I have to say Kemper products in general have some of the best performance of anything out there when it comes to latency. I'll let you in on a little secret. My telltale sniff test when it comes to testing for latency with modeling guitar products is how responsive does my kill switch feel on my guitar. I own a bunch of guitars with momentary kill switches in them, so the first thing I do when I want to test latency is I do some kill switch stuff, and I can just tell straight away by how responsive my kill switch feels how good the latency is on the product I'm testing. And this to me is again a massive thing that works about this product and Kemper stuff in general. The feel of the amp models is just dead on. There is zero discernible latency. I'm sure there's some there because there always is, but it's so close to playing through a real amp in terms of the way it responds. Just unfortunately what doesn't work about that is just the inflexibility you have with the signal chain in this unit. And really this is something else that is an issue with the full-size Kemper stuff, and I think it's something that is starting to make Kemper sort of show its age a little bit now. There's really no scope for having customizable signal chains with this, so you can't do like dual parallel rigs, you can't do split signals, you can't do wet dry, there's nothing like that. All you get is guitar goes in, effects blocks, guitar goes out, that's it. You can customize the physical outputs on Kemper to some degrees, so there is a little bit of scope there, but compared to the competition, the signal routing options on this are just kind of archaic and lagging behind, I would say. And really, I think that neatly brings me on to, I guess, my problem with this product, because I do kind of have an issue recommending it really at the moment. The best way I can sum this product up is look at this like you look at the HX Stomp from Line 6. This is a very small, condensed version of a full-size product. It's attempting to give you the kind of essence of what the full top of the range product is giving you, with a few compromises, cutbacks, and in a nice, neat, tiny little form factor. That's great. I don't have an issue with that. I actually think the HX Stomp is a great product, and it's something that can work really well in pedal boards just like this can. Cool. The problem I have is the price they're asking for this HX Stomp level product. This product is currently retailing for 620 quid in the UK. That is considerably more than the HX Stomp. That is only 100 quid shy of something like the Headrush Core, which is a fully featured flagship product in a medium-sized form factor. You have, I mean, just leagues ahead of functionality, leagues ahead of user experience. A touchscreen, it can do amp, cloning, profiling. This product to me is a £399 product, max. That's what I think this type of thing is worth in 2024. This feels to me like a product that Kemper probably could have done with releasing about 5 years ago, before the competition and the innovators and the disruptors like Neural DSP, Headrush had come in with touchscreen stuff, advanced amp cloning, advanced wireless cloud-based functionality. This really feels like a very out-of-date product for something launching in 2024. If this was the functionality of a full-size Kemper, apart from not being able to do amp profiling, I would say this is worth 620 quid, absolutely. The fact that it isn't, it's really surprisingly cut down actually. Let's not forget that Kemper is a 10-year-old plus product. This thing's running on decade-old technology. I have to think that it's technologically capable to get what that Kemper does inside a unit this size or similar. The fact that they haven't done that, and all the other kind of shortcomings and things that don't work that I've just detailed for you, I'm finding it hard to recommend this product, guys. Now, I'm very conscious of the fact that at the time of releasing this video, I seem to be pretty much the only person on YouTube talking about the downsides of this product, kind of identifying the fact that it's at a really punchy price considering what it offers. So what do you guys think? Am I speaking out of turn? Am I expecting too much? Have I maybe been spoilt by disruptors such as the Headrush Core at just 100 quid more, offering leagues ahead features? I don't really know, but I am really interested to hear what you think. Have you bought a Kemper player, profiler? Are you a current Kemper user? Can you see this fitting in? Can you make a case for the current price tag? I'm really interested to hear what you think, so please do let me know in the comments below. If you're this far into the video, you must have enjoyed it because you've watched it this far, so thank you so much. Please do like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me grow my audience, and it really encourages me to keep grafting away at content for you. Better yet, you can also support me via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Anything you can do to support me financially, even just buying me a coffee, is so gratefully received, and thank you to everybody who has supported me via that page so far. It means the world to me and always puts a smile on my face. Until the next chilled review, do take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.